Bienvenue à tous. Normally for our international press review I've got a stack of newspapers. However, there doesn't appear to be a newspaper in print in France today. Perhaps it's to do with the strike. Ruben Easy, you can tell us a little bit more. What have you got and what's happened to our papers today?
Well, that absolutely is why there are no papers here on the plateau. The French print unions have joined in the strikes today. So you can only find French papers in their online edition today, though they are free, so perhaps that's a bit of a
But of course,
an upside.
you've not used that as an excuse to strike yourself, have you? You've got obviously all the world's headlines.
Not at all. Unfortunately, the Independent, the British paper, has sort of stepped up to the mark and done their whole front page in French, no less. So we have got some French newspapers almost today. They titled it Mardi Noir,
Mardi Noir,
Black Tuesday. You know, everyone else is joining in the strike, civil servants, teachers, and so on. On their page 2, they've also got an interesting little graphic suggesting that French people retire earlier and work fewer hours than their European neighbours. A picture of some old men playing pétanque there. So it's the good life in France, and why are all these people striking? That seems to be the message coming out of it. They've also got a leader column called Behold This Winter of Discontent. Now there's also strikes, as they say, going on in Germany, railway strikes there. Really wondering, why is this happening? It's the biggest sort of industry action we've seen since the mid-90s. Well, they don't really have any answers, but they're suggesting that it's something to do with the fact that we've got centre-right-wing governments come in Germany with Mrs. Merkel and
they've
Sarkozy
chronicled
here.
the idea anyway. Sarkozy with his ultra energy making everybody feel they should be the same, so therefore they've got to strike and go for what he wants. I don't know. Maybe I'm being editorial here and I should shut up and let you get on with it, Ruben. Carry on.
Perhaps. Well, let's move on to L'Orient Le Jour. This is a Lebanese paper. They've got their headline there is Who's Afraid of the French Doctor? Now, this is not just any French doctor. They're referring, of course, to Bernard Kouchner, the French foreign minister, who's in Lebanon for the 6th time this year. It's his second visit there in a week. Now, in their editorial, they're really sort of paying tribute to Kouchner's good intentions, saying he's clearly a man he's trying to do his best for Lebanon, but sort of just sighing with sort of despair, really, wondering what effect can he possibly have.
He's making a sign there in that picture, isn't he?
Well, there was a bit of an angry outburst from him yesterday. They're demanding who's derailing the presidential negotiations in Lebanon. The paper describing Kouchner as a mere electron, you know, sort of, I guess, orbiting the nucleus of Lebanese politics, saying he's really, what can he do because it's so complicated, sort of giving a nod to perhaps suggesting that Syria has derailed these negotiations, sort of thing we've heard before, and saying he's in the midst of a Lebanese nightmare, no less, or a Syrian souk is another analogy.
Well, at least he seems to be running up some fantastic air miles, which is one positive thing for him, I suspect. What's next?
That's right. The Herald Tribune next, looking at the changing sort of body types of people in Japan. This is rather extraordinary now. It says that the waif ideal has completely gone for Japanese women. They're now into things like boxer size, really bulking themselves up. This is now the ideal they want, and they're not into dressing up for men at all. On the contrary, it's now the men who want to be skinny, cute and looked after. Apparently, the ideal body weight for Japanese men that they all desire is a mere 57 kilos.
57 kilos?
Yes. And they...
Okay, well, let's do a comparison here. I, viewers, weigh in at 82 kilos. So
well, you might have trouble getting a girlfriend in Japan if this article's anything to go by. There's a man called Junichi Shirakawa they interview who says, she's a lot stronger than I am. She can lift heavy things and drink until dawn, and he admires that, whereas the inference being that he can't.
Sounds like my kind of woman, that. Brilliant, fantastic.
He also says, I never fight with my girlfriend because I know I'll lose.
Very sensible lad, very sensible lad. Okay, Ruben, thank you very much for that one. Obviously, Japan's the place to go if you want a tough girlfriend. You're watching France 24. Stay with us. Any complaints, send them to him. Thank you.